I wish I could give you better news, but I think you know the truth. And that is that we are now some 300 delegates behind Vice President Biden, and the path toward victory is virtually impossible. So while we are winning the ideological battle, and while we are winning the support of so many young people and working people throughout the country, I have concluded that this battle for the Democratic nomination will not be successful. And so today, I am announcing the suspension of my campaign.
This week, Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders stepped down in the race against establishment frontrunner Joe Biden. Regardless of what your personal political preference may be, it is blatantly obvious that the Democratic National Committee has robbed Sanders of the nomination for the second time in a row. We are not here to present a personal opinion on this matter, but rather,
Mr. Curtis, are there programs that can be used to secretly fix elections?
Yes.
we are merely pointing to evidence that your system of elections is a total sham. This fact was even recognized by U.S. President Donald Trump, who has been taunting the Democratic Party from his Twitter account about Biden's corrupt nomination. Sanders was certainly the most radical contender on the Democratic stage, and was painted as an extremist by many of his fellow Democrats throughout the election. Still, Sanders was by far the most popular candidate of the past two elections, filling stadiums across the country and amassing an online following that is comparable to that of Donald Trump or Barack Obama during their inaugural campaigns. Yet, every step of the way, he was treated as the outcast of the Democratic Party, and his supporters were painted as idealistic or problematic. Furthermore, there were widespread accusations of fraud in the primary elections where other candidates like Pete Buttigieg and Elizabeth Warren contended with Sanders for vital delegates. In one case, Buttigieg's campaign was caught contributing money to the technological firm whose voting app was used to count the votes in the Iowa caucus. This was how election season was kicked off, and the votes are still hotly debated because the voting app in question was responsible for reporting delays. In a sheer twist of irony, the name of the voting app was called Shadow. Similar antics continued all the way down the campaign trail, until all of Sanders' major contenders dropped out of the race at once, almost as if it was planned, and then they all endorsed Joe Biden, who was one of the least popular candidates at the time, somehow became the front runner. Then overnight, as if he had gotten a blue shell in Mario Kart, creepy Uncle Joe was thrust to the lead of the race. Unfortunately, Sanders will likely endorse Biden because Democrats are terrified of seeing another 4 years of Donald Trump. These election season antics are nothing new. In the past two elections, the left witnessed the Democratic National Committee block Sanders from the nomination, and the election before that, the right watched the Republican National Committee block the candidate, Ron Paul, from attaining the nomination as well. This should come as no surprise, considering that both of them have been critical of military spending, the Federal Reserve, and corruption on Wall Street. Although both of them came at the issue from different angles, Sanders from the left and Paul from the right, their sabotaged campaigns show how corrupt elections in the United States truly are, and how the final contenders are carefully selected by groups of elites who want to make sure that the system remains as it is.